were walking, and when they came to the Yamuna, which due to the rain had swollen and had become quite wild, they saw a jackal crossing the river. So then Vasudeva could understand, oh, there it's not so deep. And he just followed that path and went across with Krishna, while Anantases continued to shelter the Lord from the rain. Then he exchanged the child for the child of Yasoda that had also just been born. And he took the girl and left the boy. And so Krishna had now appeared in Vrindavan. In the Bhagavatam, then there is the 14th chapter of the 10th canto, which is known as, no, it's not the 14th chapter, sorry. 1 minute. Back. No, it takes a moment. Oh, it's much further. Chapter 26. So this chapter is after Krishna has already grown up to 7 years old. And Krishna has already lifted Govardhan hill. So he has done so many things. And then in this chapter, the residents of Vrindavan begin to discuss. Sukadev Goswami said, the cowherd men were astonished when they saw Krishna's activities, such as lifting Govardhan hill. Unable to understand his transcendental potency, they approached Nanda Maharaj and spoke as follows. The cowherd man said, since this boy performed such extraordinary activities, how could he warrant a birth among worldly men like us? A birth that for him seemed contemptible. How could this 7-year-old boy playfully hold up the great hill Govardhan with one hand, just as a mighty elephant holds up a lotus flower? As a mere infant, who had hardly yet opened his eyes, he drank the breast milk of the powerful demoness Putana, and then sucked out her very life air as well, just as the force of time sucks out the youth of one's body. Once, when only 3 months old, little Krishna was crying and kicking up his feet as he lay beneath a huge cart. Then the cart fell and turned upside down simply because it was struck by the tip of his toe. At the age of 1, while sitting peacefully, he was taken up into the sky by the demon Trinavarta. But baby Krishna grabbed the demon's neck, causing him great pain, and thus killed him. Once his mother tied him with ropes to a mortar because she had caught him stealing butter. Then, crawling on his hands, he dragged the mortar between a pair of Arjuna trees and pulled them down. Another time, when Krishna was tending the calves in the forest together with Balaram and the cowherd boys, the demon Bakasura came with intention of killing Krishna. But Krishna seized this inimical demon by the mouth and tore him apart. Desiring to kill Krishna, the demon Vatsa disguised himself as a calf and entered among Krishna's calves. But Krishna killed the demon and, using his body, enjoyed the sport of knocking kapita fruits down from the trees. Together with Lord Balaram, Krishna killed the jackass demon and all his friends, thereby securing the safety of the Talavan forest, which abounded with fully ripened palm fruits. After arranging for the mighty Lord Balaram to kill the terrible demon Pralamba, Krishna saved Raja's cowherd boys and their animals from a forest fire. Krishna chastised the most poisonous serpent Kaliya, and after humbling him, he drove him forcibly from the lake of the Yamuna. In this way, the Lord made the water of that river free of the snake's powerful poison. Dear Nanda, how is it that we and all residents of Vraja cannot give up our constant affection for your son? And how is it that he is so spontaneously attracted to us. On the one hand, this boy is only 7 years old, and on the other we see that he has lifted the great hill Govardhan. Therefore, O King of Raja, a doubt about your son has risen within us. Nanda Maharaj replied, O coward man, just hear my words and let all your doubts concerning my son be gone. Some time ago, Garga Muni spoke to me as follows about this boy. Garga Muni had said, your son Krishna appears as an incarnation in every millennium. In the past, he assumed 3 different colors, white, red, and yellow, and now he has appeared in a blackish color. For many reasons, this beautiful son of yours sometimes appeared previously as the son of Vasudeva. Therefore, those who are learned sometimes call this child Vasudeva. For this son of yours, there are many forms and names according to his transcendental qualities and activities. These are known to me, but people in general do not understand them. To increase the transcendental bliss of the coward men of Gokul, this child will always act auspiciously for you, and by his grace only you will surpass all difficulties. O Nanda Maharaj has recorded in history, when there was an irregular, incapable government, Indra having been dethroned, and when honest people were being harassed and disturbed by thieves, this child appeared in order to curb the rogues and to protect the people and enable them to flourish. Demons cannot harm the demigods, who always have Lord Vishnu on their side. Similarly, any person or group attached to all auspicious Krishna cannot be defeated by enemies. Therefore, O Nanda Maharaj, this child of yours is as good as Narayan. In his transcendental qualities, opulence, name, fame, and influence, he is exactly like Narayan. Thus, you should not be astonished by activities. Om Jnanatimirandasya Jnanandana Salakaya Shakshurun Militam Yena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namah. Shri Chaitanya Manobhistam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam. Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaura Bhaktavinda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So, wonderful Krishna. The cowherd men are remembering all Krishna's wonderful activities. And Krishna's activities are indeed extraordinary from the moment of his appearance. And the most extraordinary is that Krishna appears in a human form and that he performs human-like activities. And then in between, Krishna shows these very transcendental activities, these very powerful activities, one after another, which bewilder the mind. But other times, he is completely a child. Completely. I mean, just like any other child, sporting, playing, and childish. Yeah, angry, just like a child. Therefore, there's no doubt he's a child. There's no doubt he's a child. No, he's the Supreme Personality of God. No, he's not. Come on. Look how he's acting. Like a child. How can he be the Supreme Lord? See him there, standing there with a little rice mixed with some yogurt and bananas in his left hand. See him there. Oh, Brahma saw him. This boy? Yes. And all these residents of Vrindavan, they're glorifying him so much. You know, they glorify him because he lifted a hill. Now, mind you, I mean, it's something. I mean, really, not every boy. He's special. Let's acknowledge that. No. There's no doubt. He's not like any ordinary boy. I mean, he lifted a hill. It's something, quite something, a hill. Have you ever seen a boy lifting a hill? I have not. It is something. And these residents of Vrindavan, these villagers, simple people, not very educated, not very knowledgeable, simple people, what they know, it is natural. It is natural that they are impressed by these things. Natural. And it is natural that they worship him. Natural. But at the same time, let's put it in perspective. You know what I mean? Me, I, Brahma, and keeping planetary systems in their place. Hill planets. You see the difference? You're getting it, right? Hills, planets. Let me show. No. Let me show them. Let me show them who I am. And then see the surprise on his face. All right. Let me just, while he is not paying attention, take all his cowherd friends and all his calves. Put them in a cave, put them to sleep for a while, and then let's see. Then we'll go back and see what is going on. And Brahma came back, and he saw all the calves and cowherds are there. But I have just taken them and put them in a cave. But how is it possible? No, did he take them out of the cave? How? He went quickly back to the cave? No. All the boys and cowherds were sleeping in the cave. Then he came back again, and the boys and the cowherds were there. Then all these forms transformed into Vishnu Murtis. Chaturbhuj. 1, 2, 3, 4. Acha. I see. He must be the Supreme Lord. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yes. In this way, he recognized the Supreme Lord, and he suddenly realized his mistake. Yes, then Krishna, he let him know, oh Lord Brahma, all these little Vishnu forms entered into his body. And then Lord Brahma began to offer prayers. Now in the prayers that he offered, he was sort of tactful, because they were not just prayers, but he also prayed. For example, he said, "Oh my dear Lord, you are the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and you are the well-wisher of all living beings, and yes, you are I who have appeared from a lotus flower. You are directly my father and my mother, both. And a mother never takes offense, even when her child passes stool on her lap. So in this way, he's trying to get away, hoping that he wouldn't get punished for stealing the Lord's friends. And so Lord Brahma understood, uh, understood who he was dealing with. And yet before Brahma Vimohan Lila, Brahma Vimohan Lila, it is the pastime where Lord Brahma is bewildered by illusion, Vimoha. Not just illusion, but Vimoha, very strong illusion, totally covered over. Lord Brahma, he is like Pitamaha. He is above anything. When everyone in the universe is all bewildered, all confused, Brahma is fixed in transcendence, fixed in transcendental knowledge. But yet, he could not recognize the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Who could recognize the Supreme Personality of Godhead? Who could? Yes, not the residents of Vrindavan. They could not. And when they began to suspect something is not ordinary here. Something is going on. This boy, this is getting beyond anything possible. He has to be special. Yes. Then they raised all the question to Nanda Maharaj. And Nanda Maharaj cited Garga Muni and said, yes. Garga Muni said that my son would be as good as Narayan. As good as. Clear. He's not Narayan, but he's as good as Narayan. He is Narayan because he's as good as Narayan. Because anybody who's as good as Narayan is Narayan. Right? Garga Muni was very diplomatic when he said, you will have a son as good as Narayan. Only Narayan is as good as Narayan. Nobody else. Right? So, in this way, yes, it was hidden, and yet Garga Muni spoke the truth. Oh, Nanda Maharaj was so pleased when Garga Muni came. Garga Acharya, he was the priest of the Yadu dynasty. And Garga Muni was such a personality, such a great saint. And Nanda Maharaj was so pleased that he set him on a throne and worshipped him and said, such great fortune. It is so rare that a great personality like you appears. And then Garga Muni had been sent. He had been sent by Vasudeva. Because Vasudeva, after all, he knew that Krishna was his son. Nanda Maharaj had no idea. Nanda Maharaj was thinking that Krishna was his own son, right? After all, he's the child of Yasoda. That was quite clear. Yasoda gave birth to a child, but he didn't know. He didn't know that Vasudeva had exchanged the children. He had no idea. Therefore, Nanda Maharaj thought, Krishna is my son. He's completely convinced. And Yasoda, Krishna is my son. Completely convinced. Completely. 100%. Right? I gave birth to him. Yasoda was thinking, I'm his father. Nanda Maharaj was thinking. And so, Nanda Maharaj was impressed that Vasudeva sent Garga Muni. Now, mind you, Parjanya, Krishna's grandfather, somehow or other was related to Vasudeva. Because somehow or other he married a Vaishya. He was from the family and he married a Vaishya, therefore he was considered a Vaishya. So in this way, there was actually a family link between Vasudeva and Nanda Maharaj through Parjanya. And therefore, it was considered, that must be the reason why he sent the priest of the Yadus, because of this family connection, this remote family connection, to bless the child. That's it. Otherwise, why is the priest of the Yadus here? When an ordinary son of the cowherd take birth? No. That doesn't make sense. That doesn't make sense. But because of the family relationship, that must be it. So somehow or other, he took it like that, and therefore accepted Garga Muni's presence, who glorified the child, who established that previous the child had appeared in other forms, in a white form, in a reddish form, in a yellow form, and now in a blackish form. It was important what Garga Muni said for various reasons. One is that he also mentioned the yellow form. He also mentioned that the Lord appeared in the age of Kali, in the yellow form, previously, in another yuga, in another kalpa, in another cycle of so many yugas. In this way, Garga Muni was seeing the eternal nature of the Lord. And he understood that the Supreme Personality of Godhead doesn't take birth at all. Janma karma same divyam evam yuvati tattvataha chaktadeyam punar janma naitimam eti surjana. One who knows the transcendental nature of my janma and my karma, of my birth and my activities, he will not again return into this universe at the end of his life. He'll attain the spiritual world. Yes, but the first thing to know about the Janma of the Supreme Lord is that he's Aja, that he didn't take birth. He doesn't take birth at all. He's Aja. So where is the question of taking birth? Krishna Surya Sam Mayayandakar. Krishna is like the sun, and just like the sun is moving around, Krishna is moving around, his pastimes are moving around. And in that way, Krishna is appearing to our sight and also disappearing from our sight, as the sun appears to our sight and disappears from our sight. And we'll say the sun is rising and the sun is setting. But the truth of the matter, the sun is always shining on full force. We don't experience it like that. But wherever the sun is, it's on full force. Pilots, they know these things. Air travelers, they know these things. Sometimes we travel with the sun for hours, right? It's like, it can be, when you're in a plane coming from Australia, you can have sunrise for 6 hours, and you're just following the sunrise. Like that, Krishna is always present and always performing his pastimes, each of these pastimes. Therefore, this whole thing of focusing on the birth pastime is one thing. I'll go back now in just 1 second. The coward man understood that someone like Krishna could not be among them. It would be, how could he take a birth among worldly men like us, a birth that for him would seem contemptible? Vaishyas are considered to be in the influenced by the mode of ignorance and passion. We may recall that Brahmanas are considered to be in the mode of goodness, Kshatriyas are considered to be in the mode of passion, Vaishyas, passion and ignorance, and the Sudras in ignorance. So, to appear in a Vaishya community with such exalted qualities appeared awkward. Vaishyas, because they are in passion and ignorance. When it comes to Dharma, Dharma, prescribed duty and so on, Dharma is a good thing, undoubtedly. The Vaishyas, they think Dharma is important and it's a good thing. But the Brahmanas, they are completely dedicated to Dharma. The Brahmanas, they are living their life according to the scripture. And they are seeing through Shastra Chakshus. They are seeing through scripture. And as a result, they have a transcendental vision. They see the eternal world, and they see all these existences in this world as temporary and secondary to the eternal identity. Kshatriyas, they're in the mode of passion. Kshatriyas are also fully dedicated to Dharma, but it is their duty, whereas it's the Brahmin's duty to simply establish the principle based on Shastra. It is the duty of the Brahmana to establish the principles of the Shastra on the ground in a practical situation. So they have to make some adjustments sometimes. When you have to make things practical, then you have to take decisions about when to apply a rule, when not to apply a rule. The Brahmanas don't worry about that. There is only the principle. We have the story of King Riga. And King Riga, the story was he was very charitable. He gave cows to the Brahmanas, and one of the cows walked back to the original stable because the cow was attached. Right? Then King Riga gave more cows to other Brahmanas, and somehow or other he gave the cow that he already had given to one Brahmana to a second Brahmana. Same cow, given 2 times. Then the Brahmanas were very upset. And both the Brahmanas said, what is going on? You, the first Brahmana said, you took my property. You took my property and you gave my property to someone else. You are stealing my property. How can you touch the property of a Brahmana? You have no right to touch this property of a Brahmana. So then the king said, I am so sorry. Mistake, a cow somehow or other walked back, and then I didn't know, so I gave it again to the second Brahmana. He said to the second Brahmana, my dear sir, please accept my utmost respects. Please forgive me for this great mistake. Somehow or other, allow me to give you 100,000 cows with golden hoofs and horns and pearl necklaces and everything instead of that one cow, sir. Please allow me to solve the situation. No, the Brahmana said. It's like, no. How could he say no? I mean, isn't that completely unreasonable? Wasn't King Riga really kind of extremely considerate? Wasn't he more than fair by offering 100,000 cows in exchange for one that he wasn't even guilty of, had walked back into the herd and then he gave it a second time? Could he count every single cow before he gave like so many cows? Of course not. Right? Then why wasn't this Brahmana, who is supposed to be tolerant, who is supposed to be kind and so on. Why wasn't this Brahmana accepting that? Why was he so unreasonable? Because the Brahmana wanted to uphold the principle, and the principle is the property of a Brahmana cannot be touched by any Kshatriya. Finished. And there's no negotiation, there is no exception to this, there is no possibility that we can bend the rule or even slightly stretch the rule. No, it is just a hard no. A Brahmana's property is untouchable. No Kshatriya can ever touch it. So, therefore the Brahmana said no. I mean, you can see it's difficult to deal with these Brahmanas. Kshatriyas, okay, they have to make a practical solution. Because after all, life is practical. You got to do something. Scripture says all these things, very good. But then what? You have to do something. And so, Kshatriyas, they sometimes adjust the scripture a little bit because the practical circumstances just don't allow it to be followed. They have the right to do so. But otherwise, they're very serious about upholding scripture. Their whole life is dedicated to that. Vaishyas, yes, scripture, yes, Shastra, we worship, we bow down, obeisances. Oh yes, absolutely. Although we're not so learned, right? We know about cows, we know about growing things, we know about farming. And how do you learn farming? Not in school, not in some university where you learn how to farm. No, not there. On the land itself, right? Naturally, from your father. So, not every Vaishya can read. Not every Vaishya is so learned, and even if they can read, some can. But, still, when you have time to read, the cabbages are growing. And as you saw, the saying goes, grows like cabbage, right? So, when something grows like cabbage, it means it's really growing. So these cabbages, they grow all over the place, and then, you have to look after them. You have to water them, you have to weed. It's hard work, right? From morning to night. You think it's a picnic? Oh no, farming, it takes a lot. And then the animals, they're hungry, they're always hungry, and they eat lots, and they have to be looked after. And the cows have to be milked, and they have to be fed, they have to be cleaned, and this and that. It keeps you busy. So Vaishya life is certainly a busy life, undoubtedly. And then you're coming with Dharma. You're talking to us about Dharma. It's like, yes, Dharma is very good, absolutely. But, when it comes to profit, Dharma and profit, you can't be fanatic, you know what I mean? Take the profit. Take it. Life is about profit. So in this way, we see that in the Vaishya community, Dharma plays a different role. We also see in the pastime of Govardhan, we're seeing that Krishna is speaking to Nanda Maharaj, oh, why are you performing this sacrifice? Oh, this is a tradition. We are doing so in our family. We are in our family line. This has been going on in our community for a long time because we are dependent on Indra. Because Indra controls the rains. And rains are essential in our for Vaishyas, because, no rain, nothing will grow, the animals won't have anything to drink, so water is the key. Rain is very important. Therefore, we are thanking Indra. We know he's not the Supreme Lord, but we are thanking him. We're thanking him for kindly sending us rain. So, Krishna then started to argue. And as he started to argue with Karma Mimamsa philosophy, which basically says that actually everything in the universe is determined by karma. Isn't it so? Isn't karma everywhere? Yes. Correct. Everything goes on by karma. Then, if everything goes on by karma, then the demigods have nothing to do with it. Because the demigods then are obliged. So rain will come where it's due to karma. Therefore, there is no need to worship Indra. Because he's only giving rain wherever there is good, wherever the karma is right. And when the karma is not there, no rain. See? So Indra has nothing, it's not his choice, it's not his mercy. Simply, he is providing according to karma. Krishna explained. And Krishna continued to explain that Govardhan, on the other hand, Govardhan is where all the grass is growing. And therefore it is Govardhan. Govardhan is providing. Govardhan is providing us with everything, with so many things. Jewels, very nice colored pigments, so many wonderful pastime places. Govardhan. Therefore we should worship Govardhan. Now, Nanda Maharaj, being a cowherd man, he couldn't figure it out, right? It was like the philosophy was over his head, Karma Mimamsa. See, Garga Muni would have caught it straight away. He would have even been able to name it. He would have said, Karma Mimamsa philosophy, Krishna, please, don't come with this, I mean, sorry, But, no, we are not accepting this philosophy. Your reasoning is not entirely correct. Although karma is certainly there throughout the universe, that karma is not the same on all levels of the universe. As there are different species and different positions, the karma is not the same for all the species. And therefore, just as animals can do anything. When an animal kills, there is no reaction. An animal is only experiencing previous karma, and human beings, however, are held responsible for karma. But the demigods are not bound like by karma in the same way as human beings. And therefore the demigods, they are not just obliged, it is also their mercy. It is also their mercy. If they desire to withhold, they can withhold. So, anyone conversant with finer aspects of philosophy could have easily defeated all these karma mimamsa arguments, but because Nanda Maharaj was a Vaishya, therefore he was not so philosophically astute, and Krishna then bewildered his mind. And then finally Nanda Maharaj agreed. So in this way we can see Sudras are in ignorance. It is said though in the 11th canto that a Sudra is dedicated to serve his master. A Sudra is honest, and a Sudra is clean. So these are like the virtues of the Sudra, so we can understand when it says Kalo Sudra Sambhava in Kali Yuga, everyone is a Sudra. Well, even that is kind of an elevated platform, right? To be like, a servant of a master, I mean, even a spiritual master is not easy, what to speak of an ordinary master. And then, to be honest, well, I mean, I'm kind of honest. No, I am. I rarely lie. And that's a lie. I lie all the time. Right. And then clean, clean, put a little perfume and it will go, right? And here's your antiseptic towel, right? Okay, clean. Are you sure? I arrived in Cape Town when there was no water. The city was running out of water. I came on the airport, went to the bathroom, and I went to the sink. No water was coming out. So I stood there like in disbelief as to like, oh no. And then one man was smiling at me and said, look, there's hand sanitizer. I go, hand sanitizer. I didn't want to touch my japa, after with that. I go like, oh, that was disgusting. Hand sanitizer. Yes. So anyway, just to show a little bit the dynamics of the various ashrams and the relationships between Garga Muni, between Vasudev, and between Nanda Maharaj, and how they had a different mentality and a different mood. At one point, Vasudev came, and he warned Nanda Maharaj that he could expect a lot of trouble. Shortly after the birth, Vasudev met Nanda Maharaj and explained to Nanda Maharaj that it could be expected that there would be many difficulties. And then it happened. And Nanda Maharaj was amazed. He said, like, Vasudev is like, some sort of seer, I never knew that. I never knew that he could sort of foresee the future. No, really. I mean, he understood all these things. He predicted them. He did, yeah. He predicted them, and then it all came through. That was amazing. I mean, he has some sort of mystic power, yeah, I think. No, he didn't. He just had political sense, as Kshatriyas do. As Kshatriyas understand the ins and outs of politics very well. Ah, yes. They know when it's coming, and they can see the manipulation. And, oh yes, Kamsa had been pacified by Vasudeva. Remember, on the chariot, remember? Oh yes, Kamsa was so happy. It is said to drive the chariot of his sister. Of course, in India, when it comes to sister and brother, they say cousin sister, cousin brother, and they call them brother and sister all the time, although they are cousins, right? So actually, they were cousins, right? But all right, whatever they were, Kamsa was happily driving the chariot. At the time of the marriage, so many maidservants had been given also, right, to accompany the bride. It was a whole caravan. It was a sight to behold. Everyone dressed at their best. A wonderful occasion. And then suddenly, from the sky, this voice this voice appears, an Akashvani, right? Akashvani, a voice from the sky. That is not an ordinary thing, right? That is known to be the demigods, at least in those days. Nowadays, Akashvani is the name of a radio station in India. But, in those days, Akashvani, the voice from the sky, was meant the demigods. Oh, Kamsa, you fool! You are riding the chariot of your sister. Don't you know that the 8th son of your sister will kill you? Well, Kamsa was not waiting for a moment. He was fast. He drew his sword faster than lightning and grabbed Devaki by the hair and was ready to strike when Vasudeva said, "No, wait!" Huh? Why would I wait? You wimp. That was a little, artistic license there. And wasn't mentioned in the Bhagavatam. But Kamsa, being in the mood of a Kshatriya, right? I mean, all that he could respect was another sword. All right, I raise my sword, you raise your sword, and we'll have it out. And a man who could just say, wait. What kind of man was that? But Vasudeva was a man of intelligence. Not just muscle, but one of intelligence. So Vasudeva began to explain philosophy. And began to explain how along with birth, death is already approaching, is already coming closer every moment. Prabhupada highlighted this point so many times in his lectures. Every year, happy birthday to you. 1 year closer to death. Happy birthday with balloons. And you're closer to death. Oh, yes. That's what we're celebrating every year. Prabhupada certainly made a point. And there is a cake. Yes, yes. We'll serve it on your grave. I mean, yeah, we can really make it a beautiful party, right? Yes. So, what to say? So we are experiencing how Vasudeva was trying to give Kamsa a crash course in Vedic philosophy. It was clear that Kamsa had stayed a bit behind and that he had slept through the education that he received on Shastra. He had missed a few essential points, right? And would have certainly failed the exam, right? Oh yes. So Vasudeva tried to, with some additional lessons, quickly, a crash course to bring him up to speed, right? And he began to explain, just as a caterpillar crawls from one leaf to another leaf, in the same way we go from one life into the next. In this way, death is predestined, and there's nothing we can do about it. It is not within our hands. So why are you trying to commit this heinous act of killing your sister at the time of her marriage? You will just pile all this bad karma upon yourself, and you can still not avoid death. Because death will come on its own accord. It is inevitable. That is the point. You see, Kamsa. Yes. Okay. Interesting what you're saying. Yes. What else? And then he said, just as when there is a forest fire, sometimes the fire just jumps over one tree and the whole forest is burned black, just black stumps. And then there's one tree, untouched, green leaves standing there still. Somehow or other. Life and death doesn't depend on our actions. It depends on the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And Kamsa said, yeah, sure, yeah. And then, so Vasudev could see it's not going anywhere. It's not going anywhere. He's listening. That's one good thing. At least he's listening. And sure, he gave other arguments. Think of your reputation. Says, reputation is very important because reputation will give you the worship and the support of many people. That is true. No, that's the point, you see. And that's the point. I mean, no, really. He has a valid point there, comes to say. That's a good argument. I can relate to that, because honor, respect of people, I mean, that is a valuable thing. That is important. Oh, yes. We need that. Oh, definitely. Yes. No, that is good. Yes. But, then again, I mean, if her son will kill me, then... So Kamsa was still not convinced. Then Vasudeva said, all right. Any of the children that are born from this marriage, immediately upon their birth, I will present them to you. Kamsa said, okay. Then Kamsa lowered his arm, put the sword back in the sheath, and he stood there and said, yes. That makes sense. Vasudev gave his word. And he never breaks his word. That everybody knows. No. Even I trust that. That you can trust on Vasudev's word. Because he is such a man. Right? He is such a man. He'll always keep his word. Everybody knows that. Yes. So there we see Vasudev. Yesterday we discussed already how he was in pure goodness. A completely pure personality. Therefore, not surprising that he is always keeping his word. In this way, Vasudev conquered by intelligence, conquered by his reputation, by his perfect previous behavior of being always honest. So much so that even a demon who would normally not trust anyone, right? Why trust anyone? Huh? Why? Why would Kamsa trust anyone? Why? It's foolish. You're a fool when you trust. I trust my sword. That's what I trust. A dead man, then you're safe. A dead man will cause no trouble. That's all you can be sure. Anyone who is alive, right, is a risk. That's the normal demoniac mentality. So Kamsa somehow or other trusted Vasudev. That was extraordinary. Kamsa, you're trusting Vasudev? come on, later. So Kamsa then imprisoned Vasudev and Devaki. Yes, and sure enough, they were chained to the wall, but must have been long chains, Anyway, somehow or other they had a child every year. So they had a child every year, and Vasudev and presented these children to Kamsa. There were guards anyway, waiting for as soon as there was a crying of a baby, alarm, and Kamsa would storm into the jail and grab the children of Devaki and just smash them on the ground. Take the little baby by the leg and just like, patch. So. That's that. And one after the other, year after year. But then, then the seventh child was a miscarriage. That was a miscarriage. This, of course, Balaram had been transferred by Yogamaya to the womb of Rohini, right? And it appeared that Yashoda had a miscarriage. Then the next one, the eighth child. The eighth child now, Kamsa was getting really, really ready. And then the eighth child appears, crying is there. Everyone in the palace is alert. Kamsa storms into the jail. It's a girl. A girl. The eighth child's going to kill me? A girl? I mean, anyway, you never know, right? You never know. Grab the girl and throw her against the wall. Even Devaki crying, no, not this one, it's a girl. She's like, a girl, anyway. Bang, against the wall. And then the girl turns into Durga. My God, riding on the lion and everything. Durga. That happens to be Kamsa's deity. Oh, my dear material energy. Oh, please accept my offerings. Yes, material energy. Oh, Maya, please be kind to me. I'm Kamsa, your dedicated devotee. Yes, let everything be good. And just because matter is what matters, if you know what I mean. And that matters a lot, right? Everything in this world, there's only a few little problems, right? Death being one of them. Especially if it's been predicted that the son of your sister will kill you. I mean, smash the child, and now Durga appeared. Durga. So this was indeed kind of a great shock to Kamsa. And then he just he worshipped Durga. So his mood changed from killing the child into worship. And then he said, check this out. Check this out. No, really, I had never held it for possible. But just see. The reputation of these celestial voices is that they always speak the truth. But I tell you today, the truth has come out, and even celestial voices lie. All right, nothing to fear, right? Okay, Vasudev, brother-in-law, you can go. You are free to go wherever you like. Go. Of course, Narada Muni, who had already come earlier on at the beginning and had already told Kamsa, he had already made politics, and he had incited Kamsa to kill the children. He did, because he had done some mathematics, and he had explained Kamsa, now Vasudeva and Devaki will have all kinds of children. I know, Kamsa said. I don't have to worry. It's only the 8th child that is a problem. So when Kamsa came at first, yes, keep your children, no problem. But Narada Muni explained, no, Kamsa, you are not sure which child it's gonna be because it depends how you start counting. Yes, which one is the 8th? It's not sure. Depends where you start counting. There are different ways of counting, O Kamsa. They may trick you like that. Oh my God, trick me. Oh no, death. Watch out, my death is near. Kill this child, kill that child, kill them all. Yes, like this. Narada Muni, and then Narada Muni was back. He was back. And he then informed Kamsa. He said, actually, the child that is destined to kill you has already taken birth. And the child is in another place. No! Vasudeva cheated me! No! Then he spoke with his minister. Excuse me. God, this comes up. Then he spoke with his ministers, and the ministers, they said, well, your majesty, it is not so complicated. We just destroy all the children. Very easy. Just all the children that have taken birth in the over the last period, we just kill them all. Easy. We just kill all the children in the whole country. Simple. Right? And babies were being slaughtered left and right. But, okay, this child that is here to kill Kamsa cannot be an ordinary child. Excuse me, what child could have the power to kill Kamsa? That cannot be an ordinary child because Kamsa is not an ordinary child. Kamsa's power is unmatched. Who is like Kamsa? Who is equal to Kamsa? Kamsa's power is unmatched. Tonight I will tell you more about Kamsa. Yes, but for now, we'll just say Kamsa's power is unmatched. So, therefore the child. Kamsa has very powerful allies. He has all these demons who are his allies. Putana, Agasura, Keshi, a whole list of them. And he defeated each of these demons. Kamsa defeated Indra also and took the throne of Indra to Mathura. Realize who Kamsa is. Powerful. Extremely powerful. Powerful beyond powerful. If you know what I'm talking about. And this child is gonna kill Kamsa. He must have great power. Therefore, ordinary soldiers cannot kill him. Therefore, only very powerful personalities can kill him. Let Putana go. She likes killing children. It's her game. She enjoys it. She drinks the blood. She likes the taste. Putana, she loves children's blood. Putana will do the job. And in this way, Kamsa sent demon after demon after demon. And they all got killed. Yes. Anyway. I will not drag it on now, but we can see that finally Kamsa's agents could never kill Krishna. And somehow or other, although sometimes they appeared to be so much more powerful, they could not by any means defeat Krishna. And in the end, we see that Krishna kills Kamsa. That we can do now. It doesn't take very long. That we can do. We can just kill Kamsa and in this way close the lecture. Right? So, the situation was there was this wrestling match going on. Chanura Mustika. And Krishna was fighting with Chanura and Balaram with Mustika. And then Krishna hit Chanura on the head and the eyes of Chanura popped out of the sockets. And so on, and he killed him. And Balaram killed the other demon. And then what happened was, Kamsa couldn't believe it. He just couldn't believe it. And then Krishna and Balaram continued wrestling, and then they wrestled with some cowherd boys. And these cowherd boys defeated Krishna and Balaram. Then it got real. That was like, adding insult to injury. That just got too much. Then, then he called out, Kamsa. He said, confiscate all the goods of Nanda Maharaj. Arrest him. Now what could Krishna do? He was attacking. Kamsa was attacking Nanda Maharaj. He was forced to do some. Otherwise, of course, he wouldn't have touched his uncle. No way. And, and then, so Krishna jumped over the royal guard. Kamsa was sitting on a raised platform, royal guard all around him. Krishna took a huge leap, jumped right over him. And some say that actually it was only his intention to knock the crown of Kamsa's head. Yes. Jiva Goswami says in Gopal Champa that he was just trying to knock the crown of Kamsa's head, and then Kamsa fell off the stage. And so it was actually an accident. It's really politics to say that he killed his uncle. And then when the body was on the ground, people were wondering, is Kamsa really dead? Is he going to get up? Then Krishna dragged the body around and beat the body a bit to show that it was really dead, That was all. He didn't And in this way, Kamsa finished now, killed by Krishna. And so Krishna established that he was indeed the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and that he cannot be defeated by anyone. And later in the day, we'll discuss how Krishna is invincible, how Krishna is unlimitedly kind, and how he is the Supreme Personality of Godhead who captures the heart of all. Let us explore that later today. I thank you. Any questions, any comments? Yes. Yeah, it's coming.
You mentioned at the beginning of your lecture that nowadays we are not so honest anymore. So how does it make sense to, as a devotee, to still be honest?
Yeah, we ask devotees to be honest, but honestly speaking, we don't expect them to be honest. We know that probably they're not going to be. But meanwhile, we shower them with mercy. And in that way, that mercy will uplift them. And even if they're not completely honest at the end of their life, it's that mercy that will tip the balance and somehow or other bring them up to the spiritual sky. And Krishna then will take away all dishonesty on the way. If we would have to be successful in this age by perfect performance of Dharma, then I wish you well. No, this is the age of mercy. There's no doubt about it. And Krishna is very kind and merciful. And that will be my meditation this evening. The kindness of Krishna. So honesty, it's one of those things. What to do? Krishna himself is not so honest. When there's Name Bhaktya Panashyati, my devotee will never perish, then the verse begins, declare it boldly, O Arjuna. Right? And it is said that no one would believe it if Krishna would say it. So they got Arjuna to say it because he was a Kshatriya and he had some principles. Whereas Krishna, he's from Mathura. And you know what people from Mathura are like, I can't trust them. Yeah.
Haribo. Maharaj, how is that Vasudev and Devaki, they underwent so many severe austerities in their previous birth to have Krishna as their son, and then Krishna, he appeared as their son, but then he went to Nanda and Yashoda Mata, and this seems quite sad. They did so many austerities and they got Krishna as their son, but then he went to another family. It's quite sad.
It may seem quite sad, but at the same time, their mood was a mood of awe and reverence. And because of that, they always kept themselves at a distance from Krishna. The worship of Krishna in awe and reverence, being aware of his Aishwarya, being aware of his position as the all-powerful, unlimited Supreme Lord, automatically creates a distance. Because the Supreme Lord is all-pervading, the Supreme Lord is everywhere, the Supreme Lord extends so far beyond us. So, certainly, the Supreme Lord, his human aspect is practically negligible, in connection or in the context of his all-pervading power, his all the unlimited energies that he has, and all his opulence. So, even a moment, right, of association with a personal feature of the all-pervading Lord is an incredible blessing. And then later they had more association and so on. But Nanda and Yasoda, they were different. They also did austerities in their previous life, many. But their consciousness was different, and therefore they could be more intimately connected with the Lord in his human pastimes. That's it. Yes. This way.
Maharaj, could you please explain shortly why do we fast on Jamashtami, and if we are not able to fast full, then how to perform it accordingly?
Yeah, why are we fasting on Ekadasi? On Jamastami, it's a little strange, right? Because we are celebrating and we're offering everything today for Krishna's pleasure. So is Krishna happy when we're hungry? I mean, that is something we may wonder about, right? Why you have to do this on this day when we are trying to dedicate the day for Krishna's pleasure? No, it's not like that. It's more because when we eat, right, the eating takes some of our energy. It's like when your stomach is full, all the blood goes to the stomach and all the energy goes to the stomach, and if you eat like too much, then just 5 minutes and then you wake up. Oops. So therefore, fasting is meant to free ourselves for hearing and chanting on this day. The main engagement on a day like this is absorbing and hearing and chanting. So what do we do when we are too hungry? First thing is take water. And fill the stomach with water. And after missing the first meal, it gets difficult. After missing the second meal, it gets hard. After you miss your fourth meal for the day, it starts to get serious, right? And you may come to a personal crisis, and it may come to a level where it gets dangerous. You might just do something foolish if you're not going to eat soon. At that point, if it gets really to there where you might do something foolish if you don't eat soon, then take some fruits. Then you take some fruits and survive with that till the end of the day, and then on. But somehow or other, we pray that Krishna may help us to fast. If there's one thing I don't like, it's fasting. I hate fasting. I feel terrible already, even before breakfast time. I feel terrible. Usually on fast days, I'm hungry from the moment I get up. And it gets only worse throughout the day. I mean, by midnight I can barely walk, I don't know how to go through that last arati. It's sort of like I stand there. Fasting, what misery. But then on Jamastami, there's that one day in the year, somehow or other, that I say, well, okay, this day I gotta do it. Somehow or other, I'm gonna do it because I want the mercy. So don't let go, don't give up too easy. Don't give up too easy. It's only a day. And after midnight, hey, we're gonna have a lot of prasadam. Don't worry about that. Yes. It's only a few more hours. Yeah. Now already a good chunk of the day has passed, Yeah. Fasting. Yeah. And then, to make it worse, we're going to be cooking the whole day. To make offerings to Krishna. Yes. Krishnendri pritivancha. It is the senses of Krishna. Today we'll try and satisfy the senses of Krishna. and not our own senses. Anyway, read the Krishna book throughout the day. Prabhupada started this reading of Krishna's pastimes, and it always was a tradition that on Janmashtami in the temple, somewhere there would be a room, and that would be the Krishna book reading room. And the whole day, devotees would go in there and read the Krishna book. Take turns, right? But throughout the whole day, in that room, the Krishna book would be read. And it used to be like that, every Janmashtami in different temples. And I think it's a great thing. I think we need a Krishna book room somewhere. And just spend a day reading Krishna book. Try. When you get hungry, read a chapter of Krishna book. Try that. You may finish the whole book because you'll be hungry. Be hungry the whole day. Anyway, somehow or other. Okay, after this, we'll take a little break. And there will be someone who will announce what the program will consist of. Thank you very much. Shri Krishna Janmashtami ki jai. Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai.
Okay. Offered? Okay.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, dear devotees, I'm sorry for just a few seconds. I would just like to say to you that today is it's Friday, it's Krishna Janmashtami, of course, but it's also working day. That means that parking, whatever you park, you need to pay. Just for weekend is a free parking, but today you have to pay. So if you park around somewhere here, please go there to take a ticket, which is more cheaper than the yes, please. It will be till 7 o'clock in the evening. We need to pay for the parking place. 5, sorry, till 5 o'clock in the afternoon. Hare Krishna.
सनातन रघु जुग हृदि भगवान कृष्ण कीर्तन गान कीर्तन गान रतन परम प्रेम वीर वीर जन प्रिय प्रिय करो